You know, the older I get, the more I realize how many people out there won't watch a single movie older than themselves. That's a tragedy considering most movies nowadays are trash. But that's why I'm here, so let's rectify these crimes against God and good taste for your sake and our children's sake. Because today, the Movie Howze is here to retro-recommend. By the time Jurassic Park 3 hit theaters back in the summer of 2001, I was already reaching adolescence. You know, I was starting to get interested in girls, and it's where, you know, you enter in that whole Corinthians 1, chapter 13, verse 11 mode of thinking where you're like, you're going to start trying to act more mature than you actually are. As such, I wasn't really fangirling about another silly dinosaur movie. Not saying that's correct, I'm just saying that's how I felt back in the day. I still ended up seeing it in theaters, almost out of obligation to the franchise, and any rewatch I've had over the years since has just reaffirmed my initial reaction. While containing a few bright spots, this still ranks near the bottom of this series for me. The story this time sees Dr. Alan Grant return. He's been hired under false pretenses to be a tour guide flying over Isla Sorna for Paul and Amanda Kirby. In truth, this is a rescue mission. The Kirby's son, Eric, due to a parasailing accident, has been stranded on the island for weeks, and they're desperately trying to find him. Not only does this rescue team have to deal with the run-of-the-mill dinosaurs like the raptors, there's a new super predator not listed on InGen's books hunting them, the Spinosaurus, an amphibious carnivore larger than even the mighty T-Rex. If that description sounds fairly thin, it's because it is. The entire script had a page 1 rewrite 5 weeks before production began. This was due to the filmmakers feeling that the plot that they had was just overly complicated and a bit too teen drama-y. This last-minute simplification of the plot made it a more focused narrative than, say, The Lost World, but at the cost of a lack of vision. There is interesting story threads teased but never fully developed. For JP3, there's this whole concept that InGen returned to the island post The Lost World and began new secret projects, stuff that was not listed on InGen's company books. This would explain the Spinosaurus and the new and improved raptors. I feel like that should have been the B-plot to the movie, which considering the film's only 93 minutes, there's barely a B-plot to begin with. Director Joe Johnston got the job here due to a promise of all things. He very much wanted to direct The Lost World, but Steven Spielberg himself vetoed him because he wanted to do the movie. But he did tell Johnston if they got around to a third movie that he would have the job uncontested. And after helming flicks like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, The Rocketeer, and Jumanji, he makes a good fit, doing a decent job aping the energy and flow of Spielberg's first two efforts. And there's still stuff here that undeniably works. Stan Winston's puppets are once again top shelf, this time keeping things fresh with the introduction of the rival apex predator, the Spinosaurus. The pterosaurs are finally given proper screen time, and the more scientifically accurate redesign of the raptors, complete with feathered head quills, are nice touches. It's also just a boon to this movie having Sam Neill back. Sure, I wish he was in a better movie, but Neill brings his gravitas, elevating weak material. Another surprising plus here is Trevor Morgan's Eric Kirby, the best child character in this whole series by like a country mile. He's smart, capable, and proactive, never feeling irritating or saccharine. The rest of the cast is quite small, but notable with the likes of William H. Macy, Michael Jeter, Alessandro Nivola, and Téa Leoni. They're fine, but nothing remarkable here. William H. Macy is the one that stands out the most, but it's because he's William H. Macy. Further echoing the just okay nature of Jurassic Park 3 is Don Davis taking over composer duties here. He's great in his own right. I mean, he's a key part of why the Matrix trilogy has the attitude that it does. And a little bit of that influence is here, even if I think his rendition of the Jurassic Park theme is a little too up-tempo. But this is a summer blockbuster. None of this shit matters if there isn't good action scenes. And thankfully, this film has a couple of particularly good set pieces. The Pteranodon Aviary and the Spinosaurus River attack, with the former being one of the absolute best sequences in the whole series. Like, no joke. It is tense, it's rousing, it's fun, it's creative, it is a fantastic sequence. But that's like how the pod race and the Duel of the Fates are two of the best action scenes in the entire history of Star Wars. That doesn't change the fact that they're both in The Phantom Menace. And it's also telling to me that the best sequences in this movie are dropped sequences from previous Jurassic Park films. But that's Jurassic Park 3 in a nutshell. Warmed up leftovers. But you want to know the biggest thing that pisses me off about Jurassic Park 3? No, it's not that bizarre-ass talking raptor nightmare scene. It's not how the T-Rex gets taken out like a total punk by the Spino. It's not how Billy survives somehow. It's not even how the movie falls apart, completely abandoning its B-plot and not really even having a third act. It's the fact that JP3 established that Alan and Ellie didn't end up together, which is bullshit because when you watch the end of the first Jurassic Park movie and that look that they're giving each other, you cannot tell me that's not them telegraphing to each other that, like, we are going to have so many babies when we get home. Upon release, Jurassic Park 3 was met with similar middling reviews as The Lost World had, but to even lowered box office returns. So for a good long while, many thought that this series was just extinct. But life finds a way, and by finds a way, I mean fucking money. Because in the end, Jurassic Park 3 has some good parts in it, but it's still just some silver screen schlock. Worth watching only if you're a diehard fan of the series like myself. But that's enough for me. I'd like to hear what y'all thought. Like, comment, or subscribe if you feel so inclined. But more importantly, until next time, stay safe out there.